So how do you create a brand that truly represents who you are and the products you sell, as well as building a business that you can scale online? That is what this podcast will help you do. My name is Henry Kaminsky Jr., and welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast.
Let me just make this statement loud and clear. Jersey's here, Jersey's here.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor Podcast episode. Today's guest is known as the Conscious Cash Flow Consultant. My man, Eric Balance, is in the house. What is going on, my man?
Blessed to be here, brother. It's so good to be here, Henry. Honestly, I'm just really excited to connect and see if I can offer value and, just really step it up for your audience now, man.
Yes. So I did a little research on you, and I know that you're part of the Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership Program, and you have a strong background and expertise in direct response marketing. Now, I don't want to take for granted that my audience knows exactly what direct response marketing is. So in your words, how can you best define direct response marketing?
Yeah, for sure. And I really want to, define it in as simple as terms as possible, because it's super important that everyone understands that it's really fundamentally so dynamic, but static in the approach that it can actually be simple as getting somebody to create and elicit a response immediately after the first connection that you have with somebody. So getting them to emotionally recognize patterns within themselves, to make a decision to make sure that they go on and move forward, whether it's, in one case, it could be down your funnel, it could be purchase a product, it could be, click on a link. It could get them to make some sort of a call to action in a way that it's actually, in my words, in full integrity, in full alignment, where it's congruent to the head, the heart, and really the whole emotional connection within yourself. Because I believe that, there's three fundamental components of it, and it is, connecting the logical mind, the emotional heart, the being, and really, the ethical intuition that we have. And if we can align those to get somebody to make that response, people will always make the decision, and they'll always make the right decision.
So that leads me to the next question. People make decisions for two reasons: either to avoid pain or to move towards pleasure, right? And what I've noticed in the past was more people will make decisions based on avoiding pain than to moving forward towards pleasure. So without sounding manipulative, without sounding used car salesman-ish, right? Without sounding aggressive, how does one evoke emotion out of their marketing message?
Absolutely. So, I call it really connecting to a person's story. And if we're really able, as being entrepreneurs or as in individuals that really want to step up in the world, we want to share our experiences, because the best thing, and Tony says this all the time, is immerse yourself with somebody that has modeled that, or you can model somebody's success patterns. And we forget sometimes that the greatest model that we actually have is ourselves. And we've all been through different experiences in our lives that we don't necessarily need to go out there and find somebody, that we have to be like. But we can actually use so many fundamental practices based on our own stories, and recognize that when we share those stories, that we actually connect with individuals. So, there could be a question, what have I been through? What have I experienced in my life that I have broken through? So where was I? What did I manage to overcome? How did I get through that ability, like through that experience? What were the steps? And map that out for yourself. And when you share that becomes a guiding light for somebody that may be a couple steps behind you. And if you can share that story to connect and build rapport and build a lasting relationship prior to ever even talking about the product, talking about the service, talking about what your expertise is, you actually build a really profound, heartfelt, emotional connection with the person. So even if they don't know you, they now start to get to know you, because the biggest thing is here, Henry, is trust. You're going to do business with somebody you trust. And the trust factor, whether you like it or not, is a buying box, is a buying box that needs to happen in any area. Because I know you and I know myself. I won't do business with somebody I don't trust. It's a natural byproduct of the human emotional psychological element. And if we don't build trust, we don't, build a buying box, or we don't tick off like, what they call a buying, elicit a buying box response. It's like a check mark. We don't build that. And the more we get to check mark off, the more they want to buy, the more they want to, trust you, because they know. And, Jay Abraham, one of my great mentors, he says, if you have something that can change somebody's life, you have an absolute moral obligation to get them to either purchase it from you, buy it from you, or help them get to that next level.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think you've hit on so many different levels. You mentioned trust being a huge factor, helping your audience tell their story through your product or service is what I was hearing you say. How do you make that connection without trying to force feed or sell somebody? And I think that's what that's why people gravitate to certain brands, because they do a lot of the selling without the selling. And I think that's what great marketing does. I think the other thing is I think what people get misconstrued with or they look at direct response marketing as too aggressive or too scammy or spammy, is that it's very direct. It tells you exactly what to do. And I think that there's a handful of people that aren't used to that type of marketing. And I can tell you, direct response marketing has been a huge game changer in my business, because before I knew what it was, I was just putting out this like fluffy type of content, and it was all like top of the funnel content, like, inspirational and things like that. And the thing that it was lacking was telling people what to do next.
Yeah.
And until I started to just start like, listen, I want you to click on this button. I want you to watch this video. I want you to listen to this next podcast. That's it. It doesn't always have to be go buy this product. When I started to do that, I started to lead. I started to guide. And I think at the end of the day, our audience just wants to be led. So you have to do that with your marketing. You can't, that's like one of the most crucial parts of marketing that a lot of people forget to add in. And it's telling people what to do next.
Conscious leadership is a fundamental motivating factor that needs to be part of you as an entrepreneur. If you want to build a brand, if you want to build a business, it's a must to want to be a leader. And you gotta use and create a culture within yourself, because Ray Dalio talks about the principles in business. And if you create principles within yourselves, those are not just any more values, but they're values that actually are evoking an action. And when you live by those principles as a leader, you now get to really fundamentally grow to the next level. And that is a byproduct. That is a must. That is a must. When you want to share your vision, your purpose, your passion, you have to live it and embody it, because so many of us think that we're trying to sell our product or trying to sell our service. But the truth is that we're not trying to sell anything. We're actually being who we are and sharing the gifts that we have based off of our experiences. And the people that you serve, the people that you get results for, they don't buy the product or the service. I don't care what you think. They buy you. They buy you because they trust you, because they believe in you, because they know that you're going to guide them to get them the result. And the direct that's why, to me, I really believe, if I have this intense energy, as you can tell, and if I walk into a room, people feel it, because I will give this guy a high five, or I will, but the same thing is opposite. If I'm not in alignment and I'm not providing, good energy, if I'm not at my best, and we all have those days, I'm not perfect, where I'm vibrating at a lower energy, I can tell you that people will sense, the lower vibration in myself. And so it's important that when we're showing up for our clients, that we're showing up with certainty, because when they feel and they sense your certainty in yourself, they know that you're going to be the perfect guy to get them to the self. So direct response marketing gives you that appreciation. So whether your prospect is at the top of the funnel and completely unaware, or at the bottom of the funnel and most aware of what you're doing, you have a duty, and like I said earlier, a moral obligation to serve them at the high vibration that you can work at, and you can elicit those responses from them and make sure that you serve them with getting them, whether it's getting them on your next show, whether it's getting to read a free PDF, whether it's them to check out your book, whether it's getting them to purchase your service or product. It really is a step ladder to getting them results in advance. And that's what I see as direct response marketing is a way to provide results in advance of them ever actually wanting to work with you.
Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good. I love it. Look at you getting all amped up over there.
I love this stuff. I love this stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a question out here that I know a lot of my audience members are probably asking themselves, okay, this sounds all good, but when does somebody cross the line with direct response marketing? Meaning they start to use it and abuse it.
I found that there were a lot of tactics that were set in some of these like used car tactics that they could call, that it wasn't ethically nailed with integrity. And I think that if you are somewhere feeling like you are no longer in integrity, that you're actually selling or talking to a person without actually knowing that you can serve them, when you're noticing that somebody is really out of alignment, I would ask yourself the question, or ask them the question, how does it look like show me the pathway, experience, like get them to show you what it looks like the first couple of weeks, get them to point out the deliverables, because anybody in integrity is more than happy to really give you the blueprint and say, hey, guess what? Like, this is what we're going to work on. This is how we're going to show you. And by the way, a lot of great direct response marketers will give you risk reversals. So I wholeheartedly believe in my product and stand behind it, where we give, 60-day money back guarantees, because if you're not getting the results, I don't want your money.
Right.
Like, I really don't want your money. So if I get on the phone with somebody and they're uncertain, I want them to feel like I really support them. Yeah. So, depending on which program, I'll give them a 30 or 60-day money back guarantee, and, they can walk away hands free and not even have spent $1, but they have learned some stuff in the process, because genuinely, if they don't think that it's worth it, then why would I want to take their money?
Yeah.
And why would anybody want to do that? If you're in integrity, if you're going to be willing to do that, now the caveat here is they still have to do the work, right? So it's not like, oh, you get to, they still have to show, that they're willing to do the work, that they're going to step it up. Because if I'm putting 150% in and you're putting in 50, Henry, there's going to be zero success, right?
Work.
Right? It doesn't work. But so if I can offer that, and most most direct response marketers, and I know some of the best out there. I've worked with some of the best. I've had the pleasure of being mentored by the top. I can assure you that they're all willing to give those risk reversals.
Yeah. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that people aren't out there to screw you. There's people out there, I'm not trying to put my head in the sand, but I know that there's people out there that truly do want to deliver a great service. They truly want to transform someone's life somehow, some way through their product or service, but they just don't have their shit together. Right. And I think that's where things start to fall apart, and where it may look like a lack of integrity, it just may be a lack of systems.
Structure.
Yeah. Structure. Right. Exactly. That's a great word.
I think you nailed it, bro.
Yeah. And so that's why I always set my Brand Accelerator clients up with a strong foundation first before we even start looking at logo design, brand identity, website funnel, because I want to make sure that their structure and system is going to withhold the stress of 1 client, 2 client, 3 client, 5 client, 10 client, whatever that threshold is and whatever they're selling, right? Hundreds of clients if we're talking digital products, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that their infrastructure is solid before they start to promise deliverables. Because I think that's where it happened to me 5-6 years ago, where I opened up a program and 48 people joined it in a week, and I couldn't fulfill. And I pissed a lot of people off. And it sucked so bad, because it was so bittersweet. It was a successful program from a financial standpoint, but it sucked because the systems weren't in place and I had to shut the damn thing down. So that was a learning lesson, So I think what I'm hearing you say, Eric, is where direct response goes haywire, it goes berserk, it goes the wrong way, is when you're out there direct response marketing, but it's the confidence you have in that deliverable and the ability to deliver that product or service may not be at its optimum Q. And that's where we can start to see where people start to get a bad name. They start to get a bad rep. I'm on a mission here to get folks like you on the show, and for me to preach from the mountaintops is, if there's anything that you should be focusing in on right now, is delivering a great product or service.
Absolutely.
Master, and continue to improve your product or service, because that's what you're going to be remembered for. That's what people are going to talk about. The follower counts and the tactics.
None of that matters.
It doesn't, right? So I just wanted to get that off my chest. Because
I love that. I love what you're saying. I think that that's so powerful. It's all about understanding that you're going to deliver the product or service and falling in love with not the product or the service, but the client.
Yes.
So making sure that they are the ones that are looked after, because the product or service needs to pivot if you need to pivot it, and not being so attached to the product or service to making sure that it's got to look this way. It's got to be this way, to be able to really collect feedback. Because listen, here's the thing that I get is, like, so many people want to build an infrastructure right off the top, and they want to make sure that the foundation is nailed right away. But the coolest thing is that you iterate that product as you deliver it to the marketplace. People that, it's like paralysis by analysis. It's perfection is actually the least optimal. Like, it's the lowest standard that you can ever have for yourself, because it's unachievable. It's absolutely unachievable. So if you actually create perfection, it's not real. It's not real. Yeah. So there is no reality. I can tell you 3 years ago, I had a dream of, traveling the world, working off my laptop, having a personal brand and all this stuff. And I shared that story. Now, you know how you get those memories and they pop up on your feed, and you're like, holy fuck. Like, I was writing about this, and, look where I am today, there's a beach behind me, and we're just chilling. Right. Yeah. And I get to do this on a regular basis This is my lifestyle. This is what I do. And I have a team. The thing is that if we decide and we commit to our success of the product or service, decide and commit, it'll happen.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I agree. I know we're getting really like personal development D here, but it's part of the it's part of the process. Jim Rohn said a long time ago, if you want a great business, you got to focus and build yourself first. And then, when I go
business
on
is a spiritual game, man.
That's it. It really is. If you want a great business, you got to be a great person. And I think that's what allows you to make that business great, is just you becoming as the best version of yourself you possibly could be day in and day out. Like that's all I can do each day is learn from yesterday and make today great. Right. But when tying it all back to direct response marketing, I think what we need to remember here, guys, is the big takeaways as we start to wrap up is this. Great marketing is going to guide and lead your audience to make a decision, right? Because if you can help them make a solid decision, you're going to be remembered as a trusted source. That's number one. So your marketing must have some sort of direction on what you want them to do next in order for it to be effective. That's number one. Number two, I'm thinking we need to make sure that we're delivering our marketing messages in an ethical and authentic way. I believe that those were the words that you used earlier that really resonated with me, because that's what people connect to. They connect with people that they trust. So if you have a product or service that can help people, then it's your moral obligation to get that out to them, to help them and guide them along their journey. But you have to remember, you can't put shit out there that you yourself wouldn't buy or you yourself aren't 100% confident in. It's just one of those things where you're going to set yourself on fire. If you do that, and you don't want to do that. You spend all this time, money, and energy in building a reputation for yourself for what? To put out a half-assed product, to have people nail you to the wall and write bad reviews because you didn't take the time to build it out. Doesn't need to be perfect. I agree with you, Eric. You don't have to put out the perfect, because there is no such thing. But to get it to a point, and there's ways to do this through beta testing and things like that.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? You can get it to the point where you feel proud of it. You feel confident. You've proven it to work for somebody else. Then you could put it out there to the world. And I think when you position yourself and do the steps that need to be taken, you're going to deliver a great product or service. Your brand's going to get stronger. People are going to look at you as a more trusted and obvious choice. And I think that's when your marketing is really going to be turned up to that next level.
When you're showing up with, that authentic and vulnerable, compassionate outlook, you're going to really serve them, and they're going to not only be able to be serviced by you, but they're going to be able to be supported by you. And I think that's where that true connection comes in, where they're able to really feel like they're aligned with who you are in the presence of, the love that you give and the ability that you're able to support. Because if you live in the presence of love rather than the presence of fear, which is what perfection really is, you're in the presence of fear and constantly, then presence of love will actually give you, the opportunity to surrender and just be able to support and feel like, there's a higher being to who you are. Yeah. Your business is really a 3D printout of who you are, or of your thoughts, right?
And it needs to, and the best thing you could do with your marketing is to just channel that through the messaging, right? I think that's the big takeaway for me. What you're saying is, guide them along the way, be authentic about your messaging, show and prove the results, and you could tell people to do anything they want, right? Yeah. As long as you follow those three things, you're going to be okay. Really,
there's three things that I always like to talk. It's like educate, empower, and entertain.
Listen, there you go. Now I want the audience to start thinking about how you could do those three things. and start expanding your mind a little bit. I think I fall into this issue too. Sometimes I don't think big enough, right? I don't think outside the box enough. And these, just by you asking me those, or you saying those three things, I'm saying to myself, how could I be more entertaining? How could I be more impactful? Right? What else can I teach that's in my lane that's going to help attract the right customer? Right. Yeah. And I'm going to go after this, at lunch, I'm going to start writing some stuff down, because that's how you expand. That's how you grow. Right. But here's the thing, and correct me if I'm wrong. Nothing's going to happen unless you actually do this shit.
So thank you for sharing this, because, one thing I love talking about is knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. Right. So execution will trump knowledge every day of the week. So there could be it's like people out there, saying they had great ideas and somebody else took it. Well, guess what? You didn't take action. So, if people are out there, executing, and you're not, then that's on you, right? People that execute are the ones that are going to get the fulfillment, the achievement and the fulfillment. And it's a byproduct of willingness to iterate process, not being perfect, but iterate.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, I think we delivered on this episode. We had a nice little 1-2 punch going here.
I loved it. It was a blessing, bro. I'm grateful. I'm always, hoping that I can add value, but I learned so much as well, because you're brilliant, man, and what you're sharing too. So I just want to, it's always fun to go back and forth like this. And thank you so much, because I learned so much from you as well, brother.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm excited to come. You got a great podcast. I'm excited to come on your show as well. Yes. For real quick, where can people learn more about you and follow your journey?
Yeah. So, I talk about, a little bit about business nirvana, and, I call it business nirvana because it really, there's been a moment in my life where I realized how transcendence and how we can serve at a higher level through ethics and, in alignment, and how that can really serve our clients. So, business nirvana essentially means how to take a completely unaware prospect and turn them into a raving fan client and get them better results than we ever could working with them one-on-one. And so that really is a fundamental, and behind that is my methodology of the MRR methodology to help you get monthly recurring revenue. So I teach that in a free training. If anybody wants to check that out, it's go www.ericbalance.com/business hashtag or
hyphen,
not hashtag, hyphen. Yeah. Hyphen. So business -nirvana. Or you can check out, I got a free gift as well for anybody that's listening to, ericbalance.com/gift. It's an opportunity to use headlines to really capture empowering your prospects based on where they are in the level of awareness. So it's a free gift for anybody that wants to use it. It's a 21-page ebook that I've created, and I'm happy for anybody to take advantage of it. And of course, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Eric Balance. I'm there in all areas, plowing away. And I got an amazing podcast, the Resilient Minds podcast, which is, where I interview beautiful thought leaders around the planet, and really that are able to contribute and give so much value to the world. So I'm really excited to, share their messages, because I really believe that our experiences, what I call our X factor, really do contribute to our Y factors. So I hope to see you all on there. And thank you so much, just to you, Henry, for the blessing and, the amazing conversation. It's really important that, we always bounce this abundance of brilliant ideas off of, another conscious creator that's going out there doing beautiful things. So I just want to really commend you for the value that you're giving to your audience. And I just want to thank you for having me on here, because to me, it's a blessing to be able to share my message, and be able to contribute to your audience, and really just do it from a place of, absolute service. So if there's anything that I can do for you moving forward, bro, it'd be a blessing. And I'm just always grateful to connect, my man.
Bro, thank you so much. And the feelings are mutual, dude. There's so many things that we have literally underneath our noses that we can leverage to help us grow, not only as people, but as our businesses. that we just need to take advantage of. We just need to ask for it, and it comes. Like, you don't need to know how to do everything. You just need to know where you want to be and where you want to go. And I think that's how I want to end this episode, is because by getting super clear on that, Eric has showed up in your life today. Eric has showed up in my life today. And that's the way life goes. Hey everyone, this is Henry Kaminsky Jr. again. And really quick, I want to invite you to a one-on-one consult with me right now if you're looking for the clarity and focus you need to build your brand. Over the past 13 years, I've served hundreds of entrepreneurs that have great products but struggled tremendously with articulating its value to their ideal customers. You didn't get into business to just change a few lives, did you? Your ideal clients need you. And when your brand has precision-crafted messaging coupled with beautifully thoughtful design that sounds, looks, and feels like you, they'll know you're the perfect match for them. If this is something you're struggling with, what I want you to do right now is pause this audio and go visit www.uniquedesigns with a Z at the end, not an S, .net, and book your one-on-one consult call with me. Remember, the quality of your brand will determine the quality of your clients, and the quality of your clients will determine the quality of your life.